So, first of all, I would just like to say thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. Delighted to have you, and congratulations on winning Eurovision, I
Yeah,
guess.
I know. It's
How does
crazy.
that feel?
Yeah. How does it feel? Obviously really good, of course, but I mean, first of all, it was a bit unexpected. No one really talked about us, Bulgaria, and the song and the show down there. But I'm also very happy because I've received so much positive feedback about the staging, and the choreography and the whole setup. So I really feel that I'm a part of the winning team, so to speak, if you know what I mean.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. You definitely are a huge part of it. So, yeah, so just in case our listeners don't know, you were the creative director and choreography for Dara's performance of Bangaranga at Eurovision. Um,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
and
add, I did the creative direction together with Keisha von Arnold. So and the
yes.
choreography was maybe just to
Absolutely.
give her some
I was
credit
going
for
to
that.
bring that in. I was going to mention that later on
Yeah,
as well, actually, because you weren't on your own. It was definitely a team effort.
yeah.
But if we can maybe go back before, maybe back a few months ago, and when Dara and her team kind of first approached you to be involved, what made you say yes?
I think the first thing was I think Dara. I mean, she as an artist because I watched some clips of her dancing and I really felt that I had a chance to work with some really nice choreography with an artist that I can actually can dance. So that was my first thing, and I felt, I mean, listen to the song, I liked it, but it was a bit, it takes turns here and there, so it was a bit hard to follow. I mean, I always looked for some kind of storytelling or some kind of arc in the song, and I had a little bit of trouble finding that to begin with. So that was a challenge. But I say, yeah. But overall, I was intrigued by just doing something really, also to a clubby song. I never really get those questions before, so that was exciting. Yeah.
Okay. And I did read somewhere that Dara had an idea herself of kind of what she wanted the song to look like and what she wanted to do on the stage. So when she kind of came and shared her kind of thoughts and ideas with you, did you then have to kind of go away? And what was the kind of creative process like?
I mean, I usually, when I have these kind of meetings with artists and manager, I'm always go like, no, don't tell me anything. Just wait. Let me listen to the song and so I can find a picture, whatever it is, some kind of way into the song and what grabs me in the first, moment. And then I listen to all the ideas from the artist. I don't know how it was this time really. It felt like I got this idea from people, sitting down. There was something with chairs and this kind of ritualistic, if you say that in English, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
dancing, um, tribal in a way. And then at the same time, when I heard that she was talking about this figure in Bulgaria called kukri, which is, I honestly don't know so much about it. So I feel like I'm not going to explain what that is, but it is a way to, this kind of thing when you talk to your ancestors, you have a spiritual awakening and those kind of things. So it makes you feel more grounded, maybe, and protect yourself from basically from yeah, a little bit from mental unhealth and such stuff like that. And that, so there I felt we were teaming up with Dara in those ideas. And then, yeah,
Okay, so yeah, there was a connection of those ideas. Great. And
yeah,
what was, tell me about Dara. What was she like to work with? And I think I saw she was in Stockholm this week, I think, and you got to meet up again, did you?
yeah, yeah. That was so nice. She just flew back. Now she's back into writing again. So then we just teamed up because it's the dancers are all Swedish as well. So it was really just, because what happens after you win Eurovision, you don't see the artist. It's like goodbye because it's like everybody just pulls her. So we didn't really meet each other after winning, just very briefly. So that was nice to get together. But no, she's really fun to work with, and she's like she knows what she wants, but still very open-minded, I would say. I'm really grateful actually that she was so open-minded to the language of dance that we presented to her, the whole setup. But there was something in it that she felt because it was really, really different. We were saying like, okay, we're not going to do any fancy light cues. We're not going to do any fancy camera shots or anything. We're just going to let the dance be the effect, if you want to call it like that, and be the communication with people. And then she was all for it. And we started to move, and she had problems sometimes with the movements, like, oh, but she always kept on going, and and liking it. So I felt that she trusted us a lot in the process. But
Great.
also at some points she was very clear on, like, when it comes to costumes, she was heavily involved, and I think she brought some really good ideas to the table that we just picked up on. So it felt like we were collaborating and, giving from different angles, I would
Mhm.
say.
Great, great. And actually, you touched on something there because I was in Vienna. I was in the arena
Yeah.
watching the performance, and I suppose I was one of those Eurovision fans who hadn't really thought Bulgaria would be a potential winner. However, I remember when I saw the performance in the arena for the first time, and I was like, "Wow, okay,
Mm.
what's going on here?" And the reaction in the arena was huge.
Yeah, I
Like
know the
probably
reaction
the
was amazing. I was like, "Whoa, what's happening? Are they?"
yeah, and I think that was the first time that I was like, okay, something's happening here.
Yeah,
Because the staging was really cool, but I think you kind of mentioned this. It wasn't your typical Eurovision staging in the sense that there was no dry ice, there was no wind machine, there was no flames, there was no pyrotechnics. It was very much the dance and that movable structure.
yeah,
So that was the conscious decision, obviously, to not go with the typical pyrotechnics and flames and all that stuff.
totally. Because I mean, it is about standing out. It's a massive competition, with a lot of things. So yeah, we really want to do something, boring, but still fashionable, if you know what I mean. So I think we tried to create the imagery of the whole thing was to create something that is, this is boring, but still has a fashion level to it.
Mm,
Um, and also, of course, the dance. I mean, it would be not easy, but it would be the obvious way to go with Dara. I mean, she looks great. She's this incredible, woman, Beyonce superstar. We can do that kind of dance, girls in heels. Yep, bam, 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 everything. But we wanted to go the different way because, it makes people lean forward a little bit. Still energetic. And I think my favorite part is when I got Dara to do this in the middle of the song, which is such a corny move. I mean, now if you listen to this, you don't know what it is, but when you have your fingers in front of your nose and just like putting your tongue out, making a fool out of yourself. Because I think that gave me the flavor that she's like, I can do whatever here, I am the Bangaranga. I have this soul or flavor or feeling. Still, she's this like super hot woman, but she's not taking herself too serious. And that was very intentional from my side to give her that flavor and to give her that playfulness. And I mean, something we worked on, you can ask Dara if you meet her again. I told her like 200,000 times, like, open your eyes. Because if you sing and you look good and all this, you don't communicate. I wanted her to, like, you need to communicate. So I was on her, like, open your eyes.
mhm.
And I think that's one key to what the performance gave. And I think that I have read comments and I heard, people, DM me and stuff like that, and pointing that out, that it was such a fresh take, even though it's not that super fresh. But you know what I mean? Like, so I think
Yeah.
that is what I think. I was really happy that people saw that,
Mm.
felt it. So
Yeah.
that was, yeah.
That's why it stood out. And yeah, playfulness is the word I was thinking as well as you were talking there. Yeah,
Yeah.
she had the playfulness about her, which is great. And so this is huge for Bulgaria. Like, what a comeback! They haven't been in the contest since 2022. Their
Yeah.
first victory for Bulgaria, but it was kind of a Swedish victory as well because you choreographed the routine alongside Kesha von Arnold, as you mentioned, who is kind of well known in Eurovision as well. She's been a backup dancer for several Eurovision acts, including Eleni Ferreira. I
Yeah.
believe, for Fuego. And then Dara's backing dancers were four Swedes. So it's
Yeah.
almost a Swedish win as well. But thankfully and selfishly, from an Irish perspective, it won't go down as a Swedish win. So we're
No.
still level on seven
Exactly.
Eurovision
Oh yeah,
wins.
that's the Ireland Sweden competition. Yeah. That's the one.
Exactly. But
Okay.
um, but tell me a little bit about that and why so many Swedes involved, I guess, and how that came about.
I don't know. I mean, it was. I mean, first of all, I got the question. I brought Keisha on board because I was also doing UK and Switzerland this year, so I felt it was, it's a lot to handle. Um, but not only that, also for her skills, of course. And then it was more like, where are we going to rehearse? We are two people in Sweden, and Dara is one person. Um, and a bit like, we have great dancers in Sweden that we know of. I mean, I don't doubt that there are great dancers in Bulgaria too, but I mean, for me, it was more like a personal thing. Like, if we can do it in Sweden, that would really help us, in terms of times and flying and doing stuff. So
The
I was
practicality.
thankful for that, and we also, we know the people, so I think the casting, getting different people was also very important for us, not having, representatives of different characters. Not that it shows that much, maybe, but it's just, it's also another flavor to think about. Um, yeah, and also now we built the prop actually in Austria.
Okay.
The idea was to actually build it in Sweden because I usually prefer that because you know what it is, you can control it, you just know what it is. You can rehearse with it, so when you come down there, because it's so stressful when you get down there, you have like two times of rehearsal, and it's only like half an hour each, and everything just gotta be be down there.
Mm.
A funny thing, a side note on that is that we came down, we weren't really happy with the painting of the walls. So me and Keisha went down there in the arena one morning and just repainted the whole wall. Uh, but it was really good that we did it because it just gave it another little flavor that we really wanted to have. So that's also a reason of like when you can build it, close to you, you know what it is.
Yeah,
So
you can
yeah,
have it near you, feel it,
yeah,
see it, and yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I love it. I love the little insights. You're doing everything: choreographing, creative director, and painter.
Yeah. No, but I think it's very much like that. I mean, honestly, I think I mean, for as an example, for Switzerland this year, we built a prop in Sweden. So I went there, I tried it, I tested. I mean, same thing there. I actually painted a little bit on that one too, but also all these ropes that we had in the structure. You just take it, you redo it. No, let's change this one for this one. Have a bit of more of a bungee feeling in this one. It's a craft as well. You can't just like sit there and think. You need to. I mean, that's the way I usually work. I mean, I right now I'm at the theater where I usually work, so it's a lot of that. Like, I really like to get down with my hands because
Yeah.
it gives you something, it gives you feeling, and it gives you direction, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and be hands-on. Yeah, yeah. Um, and you mentioned there, obviously, you were involved in the UK performance and Switzerland as well. And I know Kesha, I think, was involved in the Cypriot entry and the Swedish entry as
Yeah.
well this
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me, how do you manage those feelings actually? Because here you are, you've won Eurovision with being creative director with Bangaranga, and then equally you had Switzerland who didn't qualify, and the UK came last. How do you kind of manage those emotions?
Yeah, no, I think you just have to deal with it. I mean, I mean, when Veronica of Switzerland didn't make it to the final, we had a nice get together in the hotel. We had a little party. We sang all night. Um, you just have to spend time with people. And I think you have to invest in people and the show, on a personal level and I think everybody else understands that that night was for Switzerland. That was not a problem.
Mm.
But it's also like, I mean, the UK team is, I mean, they're the best team also, having so much fun with them.
He
But they
seemed
were
like a
also
crazy
like, when they
guy.
had like 1 point, I sat over at their sofa in the green room and they were like, yeah, we got 1 point. We're ahead of Sweden. We're ahead of Sweden because they actually were that on one at a certain time. But then we saw what happened with Bulgaria, and they were like, Benke, you got to go to Bulgaria, you better go there now. Don't think about us. So it's all very, it's all very positive. But of course, it could be hard to balance. I just try to be very communicative with it and say and organize rehearsal time so everybody can rehearse. In different. There's always this conference room at the hotel where you rehearse when you're not in the arena. So it's all about spreading. But I think for me, I think three is maybe tops what you could do. I think feels like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you actually answered my other next question. I was going to ask you, how do you decide where to sit in the green room?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, but it's a bit of like jumping around because it's also fun for me because I know the Norwegian creative director. So, it's a little mingle party for me. I go to Sweden, sit at their sofa for a little while because obviously I know all these people. And then with my teams that I'm there with. So I'm just saying that I'm floating around a bit. And then, yeah.
Yeah, it must be great to catch up with people that you obviously kind of meet year on year, I'd say. Um,
Yeah.
You've also been involved in Melody Festivalen several times. So I do need to ask you a little bit about Sweden this year at Eurovision. And it's so unusual to see Sweden finish 20th place in the final.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Worst result since Anna Bergenthal failed to qualify in 2010. What went wrong, do you think, this year for Sweden?
No, I think it was just that we didn't get to know the artist. I don't think the song was that bad, nor the artist. It's just that, she has this mask. It's a thing in Sweden. It's a story in Sweden. I always said like lose the mask because people don't get to know you. Also, the show is very dark and moody. Um, I think it's about that. You need to sort of communicate with the audience. You need to get to know the audience in these 3 minutes. You need to get a feeling. People got to sit in the sofa and say like, "Yeah, I like that girl or that guy or whatever it is," and the song and everything. This. So I think that's maybe something to think about yeah, for another year.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I would totally agree. And actually, myself and my co-host Adrian both talked about that point. We felt like the mask was a distraction as a viewer, that we didn't really get to see her and who she is. And again, as a singer, you kind of want to see their mouth and their lips, and you want to see them
Yeah.
sing. So yeah, we kind of talked about that on our podcast as well. But yeah, no doubt, yeah, Sweden will be back in the top 10 and 5 again in Eurovision, as you
Yeah, we
normally
have to
are.
beat Ireland, right?
Yeah, no, no. Um, and I suppose as a creative director who's involved in Eurovision, looking at the other kind of songs and productions this year, was there anyone that you kind of were really impressed by their staging or choreography, and that you went, I like that. I like what they're doing there. I would have liked to have been involved in that. Was there any others that you enjoyed?
Oh, I'm thinking now. Not really something that stood out that I was like, oh, this is because I like it when it's like taking a step to the side or into the future, something that I haven't seen. I kind of liked, I kind of liked and did not like Italy. There was something cheesy with it, or like totally over cheesy with it.
Mm,
But it was also like meant to be that way. So I was also pulled in by it. You know what I mean?
mm.
So there was something that made me made me look that way and be intrigued with it. So that it had a quality, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was a hysterical dance to that song. I might not, but that was also cool. You should do something that is not expected to the song. So maybe that's the one I remember from this year.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting. I did wonder how that was going to be staged, and it was an interesting production of it. All right. I particularly liked when the bride's dress rips off to reveal the Italian flag.
Yeah, it's like so corny, but
Yeah,
I kind of
it's something like Drag Race. You'd expect on Drag Race, kind of,
yeah, and I kind of like, oh, that's lame. I mean, it
but
would
it
be,
worked.
but it also like makes me smile in a way. So it's very, but that's good. I mean, I think it gives you something. I mean, the worst thing is when you're like, oh yeah, I've seen stuff like that before. I mean, that's the worst,
Yeah, the
So
worst thing is to be forgettable. So
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, great. Um, and you have this is your third Eurovision victory now because you were involved with Man Zelmerlow back in 2015. So
Yeah.
Vienna is good to you, it seems.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
and then you were also part of Nemo's winning performance of The Code as well. So
Yeah.
I guess you're best placed to answer what makes a Eurovision winning performance.
I mean, I think something that stands out that is, I mean, a unique look and a unique, and it's also about, I think what they have, I haven't prepared this answer now, but it's also about being very clear in the visuals. I think with Nemo and the platform, that was very like it was like one object, very clear. They were only doing stuff on that. Um, Also with this room this year, very clear visual identity. And of course, also with Mons. At that time, that was a bit of a new thing, like a new trick with this projection. And what I always try to bring in, whether it's shown or not, it's a storytelling. It needs a start, it needs a middle, and it needs an end. That's very important for me to have the arc, and I think that matters. So yeah, I think that's maybe an answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And actually, that is something I've noticed when I kind of looked back at your various Eurovision performances that you've been involved in. There's definitely been like a prop or technology. There's been something, one kind of key
Yeah.
thing, which I've definitely noticed. All right, as I've looked through the acts you've been involved in. And actually, if I just might bring you back, take you back in time to some of those, I'd love to mention a few of these that you've been involved with in Eurovision. And can you just give me your kind of first memory or thought or a feeling around each of these? If we go back to 2011, Eric Sade and Popular, what do you remember or think of that?
Oh, I was so into the dance. We were like dancing so much. It was just like dance, 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 and power. That was if I think about it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then obviously Mans in
Yeah.
2015 with Heroes.
No, I was really happy with the storytelling because I think I could feel that we pulled out some emotions from people. I think that's what you need to do as well. You need to find the emotional part somewhere, and I think we did that with a small boy and Mons.
Mm. And this one I'm really interested to hear about because it's Ireland, Leslie Roy Maps
Ooh, that's the
2021.
one that I'm really excited about because I was happy with that one. I mean, it didn't go that well, and when I look at it now, there are bits in it that is like that could have been done better. But the whole perspective idea, there's some parts of it that I'm like, yeah, that's fucking good. So it was a shame it didn't do better, but I'm very happy with that. And I was really thrilled. I worked so hard with that. I mean the people that just like managed all these like but it's also that handmade thing, that
Yeah,
I really like. I mean I did technical stuff with Mons with the projection and everything, but handmade is like something I really like. Yeah.
yeah. It was very different, very unique. I
Yeah.
think it's one of those divided performances here in Ireland amongst us fans.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked it because it was different and it was unique. Um, but there
I
was
mean
a
it's a
lot.
risk taking. I mean, you don't always succeed. So it's a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And then if you think about the Rasmus, Jezebel, 2022.
Oh, I I don't know. I just had so much problem with the staging and the balloons. It was just like a mess, everything chaotic, and
Well, that was the stage that didn't turn, the sun that didn't turn, wasn't it?
yeah. And also when we got there, we sent all these like lists and maps to show them where we wanted it, but nothing was in place, and so chaos is my memory from that one.
I think the fans felt the same. That definitely felt a bit chaotic, that Eurovision.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then, of course, you were involved with Carrier, Cha Cha Cha.
yeah. That always puts a smile on my face because I was. I mean, when I heard the song, I had this um, in the first creative process. I found this picture of it's a dog from behind, and there's I just found out by then that there's this little trend of people, painting their balls or making them like glittery. So this dog's ass with some glittery balls. And I just felt that that picture, okay, this is the show. And I showed the other team, and they were like, "Man, you're stupid. What is this?" But that was this whole DNA from that show, um, turning into the cha-cha-cha dancers being like dogs and the white teeth, which is like, it's like barking dogs, but at the same time, the style of, ballroom dancing. So all that crazy mixture and the fun we had with Karia coming up with the steps. Yeah, so a lot of fun doing that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I think, yeah, for sure, that's one of the performances when anyone watches back, it just does bring a smile to our face.
Yeah.
So good. And then we kind of mentioned Nemo and the code, your memories of that.
Also very clear idea from the beginning, actually. I had this tip whipping board. What do you say?
Mm.
No, what is it called?
Y-
In playgrounds
Yeah.
where
Um,
you sit on one side and you whip it. Because
a slide kind
no,
of, or
yeah, the whole thing was about balance, and the whole thing about being where to be in a binary world where it's either like, one or zero or this or that, boy or girl. So to make Nemo balance in that it was very clear for me in the beginning, and I just felt like this is the one. And then I developed it to a spinning top.
Mhm.
So just to make it a bit more. That had to do with the stage actually, because the stage was across, I remember.
Hmm.
So I wanted to have something that stood out in the whole perspective. It was very square, the whole setup, I remember.
Yeah,
So I
very
wanted to have something
boxy.
round, and also the spinning feeling of the his opera. I can't sing, but the opera part was also something I saw in front of me, like a spinning gyro or something.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it was stunning
And it
again.
was it was great. I mean, there was and working with Nemo was so much. It was just great,
Mm.
bouncing back and forth ideas and such a performer. I remember Nemo singing like full out in basically every rehearsal. Even though we were in the workshop in outside of Stockholm, it was like they were like going full out all the
Mm.
time.
Yeah, impressive singer.
Yeah.
I actually they came to perform in Dublin there last year, and I went to see them, and yeah, a
Mm.
great concert. What a voice. And the last one I'd love to hear your thoughts on is Luan, Maman for France.
Oh yeah. No, I really like the idea. That was a tricky one with all it's cork, the sand thing. So hard to handle on stage, but in the end, um, it looked really good. It was hard for them to light to make it properly. So it was a struggle, but I think I'm happy where we ended up, because I think it's beautiful for that song. Also, maybe that everybody didn't understand the whole idea, but time is running out, her loss of her mother, and she's having a daughter, this sort of circle of life idea
Mm,
made sense to me, so I was happy with it. It could have been made more impressive in terms of like more sand, maybe. But it's those regulations you have with, it's so narrow, in terms of the changeover time needs to be 30 seconds, and you have to get out of this, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. So maybe that's something. I never look back at things, but if I saw it now one time, it could have had a more explosive feeling in the end, maybe. That's
mm.
that's something.
Yeah. I think it was stunning though. And yeah, I definitely got that time running out.
Yeah,
I definitely think that came across. I think it was beautiful. But yeah, I mean that's so true about the restrictions. It is you're so
yeah.
confined, I guess, with what you can do. And I suppose thinking of that, is there one change that you would like to see with regards to Eurovision to help make performances more kind of creative or bigger or better?
Yeah, I actually gave an idea in the after party to one of the tech guys behind, because they have so much, that we were laughing about that. It's like Eurovision prop contest. It's so much things that are going on stage. My suggestion is that you are allowed to, I mean, you have six performers, but you would be allowed to have like to bring two or three stagehands that are rehearsed, not seen in picture, but can deal with the prop in the way it's supposed to be dealt with. I mean, it would the quality of the TV production would go like from here to here in the first rehearsal because people go there. You don't have these like shitty rehearsals when everybody's just like, there's like 20 people on stage and everybody's just like looking at the prop and what is this? How does it work? Because they don't have time,
Mhm.
naturally. I mean, it's just a time factor. If you have time to rehearse with it, it will be all good and they are fantastic in the end, but it's just like it's too little time. So that's something I could see really, bring up the level of the creativity and the show. So that would, I mean, it would be a little change of rules, but uh, not impossible, I think, because there's still people working with the props. It's just that they know it and been rehearsing with it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Actually, good suggestion. Um, and can I ask you, I suppose, next year we're going to Bulgaria, first time for them to host the contest.
Yeah,
The Eurovision is kind of going through some turbulent years, I guess. What do you think? What would you like to see with Eurovision in Bulgaria to maybe get the contest back on track and, become a credible contest again? What would you like to see in Bulgaria?
that's so hard to answer. I haven't really thought
Sorry.
about it.
I just was wondering from your kind of creative perspective, does something need to
I mean,
change
just
or
don't repeat yourself. Do something new. I mean, that's always what you think about, try to at least.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm intrigued and I can't wait to see what Bulgaria will do. I love when a new country wins Eurovision
Yeah,
because it's
that
like,
was that was really exciting actually.
so thank you so much for your time, Benke. It was lovely to chat to you, and yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
you
we
too.
will
I mean,
see
it
you in
was
Bulgaria.
yes, hopefully.
Thanks a million.